Hello everybody and welcome back to another blind commentary of Overlord, episode 2. I actually can see the title, Floor Guardians. So I believe in this episode we will be exploring the different guardians and how their characters, which will be interesting because I believe they will be important characters in the overall grand story. So it's pretty good that we'll get more on them. So I hope that we'll just spend the episode exploring each of their characters because a good setup is important for good characterization. So yeah, and I hope that they take their show takes its time with it because good pacing can sometimes should be slow. So yeah, let's just get on with the show proper. At the very least, the show is taking its is very clearly setting the mood to be more entertaining, more comedic. So a more lighthearted shit. It at the very least at the start the show is very much more lighthearted, which is I'm fine with that because I just ended the show Made in Abyss, which was rather shocking in the end. So I'm pretty much happy to have a more lighthearted series to take over for a while at the very least. I still hope that the show actually goes for a more dramatic tone for at some point, but it's good to have comedy for a while.
懐かしいな。シャルティアを設定したペロロンチーノさんもアウラやマーレを設定したお姉さんのブクブク茶釜さんとこんな風によく喧嘩をしてたっけ。
Oh, that is actually pretty interesting. It would seem that the characters are kind of they might actually be reflections of their creators, which would be a pretty interesting way to introduce good the actual human, what used to be human players back into the show. So that would be actually a pretty interesting way of reintroducing them. So it's interesting and pretty cool.
御方の前で遊びすぎだ。
コキュートス第5階層の守護者であり、性格もコンセプトデザインも武人という設定だ。
このチビが私に無礼を。事実だ。
そこまでだ。シャルティア、アウラ、じゃれ合うのもそれぐらいにしておけ。
申し訳ありません。
よく来た。
Well, at the very least, Momonga knows how to, at the very least, have a commanding presence. So that's pretty good. So yeah.
コキュートス、ナザリックが何らかの理由でどこか不明の地に
I wonder because Momonga is at the very least taking already quite a commanding presence here. So I wonder if this is actually going to become something that he's going to be more. I just realized how dumb I'm sounding because I wonder if he's actually going to become an overlord. It's literally in the title. It's obvious. Obviously, he will become something more of a commander, a leader of, a leader, more of a leader person. So it's, goddamn, it's obvious. Why did I pause for this kind of pointless comment?
してしまったのは間違いないようだな。
残念ながら平坦な大地が続いているようです。
そうか。
This is actually pretty damn intriguing. He's taking a very tactical approach to this, which is something that I love. I like to see more tactics in the show. It's going to be... I have a feeling that I am going to enjoy this immensely.
であれば周辺の大地にも土を盛り上げ、ダミーを作れば。
ならば
強者であり、まさにナザリック地下大墳墓の絶対なる支配者にふさわしき方か。
It's actually pretty interesting that he would use such a direct question to get a grasp on the... Now, obviously, he wants to get a grasp on the NPC's personality as well, so it's actually he's surprisingly being really tactical about all of his moves at the very least up until at this point. So yeah, it's I don't know. I actually quite like how tactical and smart he is being.
アウラ、
慈悲深く深き配慮に優れたお方です。
マーレ、
すごく優しい方だと思います。
デミウルゴス。
賢明な判断力と瞬時に実行される行動力を有される方。
And this is surprisingly also a good way that we can actually get a grasp on the main character's personality even outside of what we have already seen. So it works double duty. It's a surprisingly efficient scene, I think, which is pretty surprising how well it works. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
まさに歓迎すべからざるという言葉がふさわしき方です。
セバスか。
これほどとは。
あれが支配者としての器を見せ。
Establishing scenes, gotta love them. They are. We are getting more perspectives about the Momonga, so it's really, really good. I like it. I really, really like it.
になったモモンガ様なのね。
ですね。
我々の忠義に応えてください。
しましたか、シャルティア。
どうした、シャルティア。
すごい気配を受けてゾクゾクしてしまって。
Well, can't have a serious scene at all without some humor at the very least to it.
少し下着がまずいことになっておりんすの。
このビッチ。
はあ、モモンガ様からあれほどの力の波動、ご褒美をいただいたのよ。それでヌリン戦法が頭がおかしいわ、大勝ちゴリラ。やつめうなぎ。私の姿。
Actually, this is pretty interesting that the Guardians would actually quarrel for such. Well, okay, it's not such a mundane event, but it's interesting that the Guardians themselves have actually conflicting personalities and they will quarrel freely between one another, which is actually going to be a pretty interesting sort of drama later on in the series. At least this is my assumption once again, so hopefully it'll happen. I mean, I know it's happening right now, but you know, I want more of it. This is actually a pretty interesting thought. Could Momonga have a child with one of them? That's pretty interesting, actually. Not only for the comedic sake, of course, it's actually kind of amusing, but it also raises a pretty good question, not only about the reproduction, but also because of, you know, it is an interesting point for tactical purposes. So there should always be a leader. It's pretty interesting. But can a vampire have a child? Now that is a question worth asking. Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
この世界に来てから3日。この姿。
3 days. My, the time has passed quite a bit faster than I actually expected. So things moved forward quite a bit actually. That's pretty surprising actually, but I wonder how many things have actually happened.
恐怖も違和感も感じない。外見だけでなく精神も変化しているのか。まず感情の起伏が激しくなると何かに抑圧されたように。
Actually, that's an interesting thing. That's a very interesting note to have there. That she is forcefully calmed back down. Because I've been reading this manhwa called The Gamer, and the gamer's mind is one of the important parts in that story, which is a very similar effect. So that's pretty interesting that there's some emotional and mental effects that have happened that have overtaken him. So yeah, it's interesting, very interesting, and yet another crude source for mystery.
平坦なものへと変わる。さらに食欲や睡眠欲も感じる。
ならば一人だけ同行を許そう。
私のわがままを受け入れていただき感謝いたします。
It's actually pretty interesting that we got to see some of the other monsters that are guarding the Nazarick. So it's, yeah, it's pretty interesting that there are, to know that there are more creatures that we have not actually even, we have only grasped a slight, we have only scratched the surface of the creatures that are actually guarding the whole tower itself. I also wonder exactly if we are gonna get to see the other floors, because I would like to see that, because they are clearly, all of them are in they vary quite wildly, so it would be pretty interesting to get to see more of them. It's actually pretty interesting to see him use items quite freely, because I wonder if we're actually gonna get to see more and more items be used, because they clearly have been storing quite a lot of them, and they are clearly all within his grasps quite easily. So it would be interesting to see more of their arsenal. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Apparently also the word of the day is interesting. I should really enhance my vocabulary. Jesus Christ, how far did he fly? That's... So apparently he doesn't need oxygen either. That's... Yeah, that's a thing.
星と月の明かりだけで物が見えるなんて。
そうだな。世界征服なんて。
Is that actually going to be the goal? To take over the world? That's actually pretty entertaining of a thought, to have that they are just going to take over the world. Of course! That's... yeah.
面白いかもしれないな。
まあ、
妙。
Oh? Another faction enters the fray. Now this is going to be really interesting to see how the Overlord, the titular Overlord, will deal with this. This is going to be really interesting to see. It will be a clash of two powers. I'm excited. I'm so happy about this. I'm loving this show. It's really quite, even though there hasn't really happened anything big, it's really been itching that fantasy itch that I have. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the show so far. It's done a really good job at pacing itself and giving us information. It's been giving a constant stream of new information, and it has been, shall I say, rather exciting as well. Not in the very obvious way that it has been, that it has any plot hooks or anything huge yet, but it has done a tremendous job at setting up the basic rules and basic motivations. And it has also done a good job at characterization with the different characters and how they deal with, well, one another and with each other, and especially with the main character. It has been quite something. And now a new faction has entered the fray, which will be really interesting to see how exactly the eponymous Overlord will deal with this. It will actually be also pretty interesting to see finally what his actual ultimate motivation and goal will be for the series, which pretty obviously is going to be to take over the world. So I'm happy. I'm really satisfied with the series. It's been a pretty good ride so far, and it has certainly captivated my interest. So, that being said, I thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. Ganmu out. Thank you very much for watching.